here with Juzzie, and this is my TweakedGSX. In my last video I installed a set of babyface rear sets. I haven't actually ridden the bike since the last video because it's been raining here in Brisbane, Australia. You may recall that in that last video I talked about how I didn't really like how the spring that is used as a part of the babyface set actually rose into this cylinder and, at my opinion, was at risk of tearing through this rubber boot. So I was having a look through the Facebook groups for the GSX S750, and I found a fellow that was in that group who I happened to actually be following on Instagram, and his name is Yoshiro, and he's in Japan. When I had a look through his history of Instagram posts, I noticed that he had installed the babyface rear set in gold. So I've got the set that's here in black, and I really liked the look of it, and I knew that it was going to be a quality part. Interestingly though, I noticed that he had not installed the factory spring set, and that he had a aftermarket spring and a red perch here, which he used to install in his bike. Now, I think that he had a similar thought about this process to what I did, and that we didn't really feel comfortable with having the spring in that sort of configuration. So what I said to him, I reached out to him, and he's been obviously speaking to me, or at least translating to me in English. I will be sending him a copy of this video. I'm very thankful for that, so thank you. So this is the part which I've purchased from WeBike Japan. Thankfully I didn't have to buy this one from a third-party site, the actual manufacturer site. It's made by Moto Rockman, and it's called the rear spring kit. So basically you can see some photos that he had provided on some other website, and the company had asked for his permission to use them. And he told me that you can order the spring and the perch in varying colors. So sure enough, I went to the website and saw that yes, you can change it black, red, gold, and gunmetal, and then you can actually change the spring color as well. Now, obviously, I like the black stealth setup, and so what I did was I ordered the black spring with the black perch. Now, I'll have the link, as I do in every video, in the video description. People still are asking me, even for this bike and my old bike, where do I get parts? And it just makes me wonder, why don't you just look at the video description? Not everybody's going to put a link in the video, so please don't be that guy that's so lazy that everyone laughs at and says, dude, it's 2024, look at the video description. So here is the actual unboxing of the Moto Rockman rear spring set. So yes, this is just a miniature spring which is designed for any sort of aftermarket setup, or any setup where literally you just don't want to use a spring that would go up into a cylinder and expose your, potentially expose your components for the cylinder to wear out quicker because of a tear in the rubber boot. The rubber boot's there for a reason. I don't really know why Babyface decided to go with this setup. Obviously they must not feel that they can competitively put that as a part of their kit. The kit was quite reasonably priced, and the details of that are in my previous video. So I'm going to do a quick little unbox of this now so that we can just have a look at what's inside. I know that it's going to be a very easy part to install, and it's going to put my mind at ease for any problems. So I'll have the part number, as I said, in the video description. Okay, so let's have a look at the paperwork first. So inside, of course, everything here is in Japanese. Okay, so they're just showing you how you can go about installing it. Obviously I don't have this in my setup, but I'm going to be going for this setup. So basically you've got the cylinder, the top perch spring, lower perch, and then you have your bottom rod. Now I'm not using the factory bottom rod connector because I've got the babyface connector. Babyface setup comes with its own lower rod around a spherical bearing. So basically all I need to do is just undo Allen key, and I think it was a 10 on the back, and then I'll be able to remove this lower rod and take this spring out and put the actual part on. So inside here we have got 3 black washers, and then we've got the part which I've been waiting for. So this again came from WeBike Japan, took about 3 or 4 days to arrive to me in Brisbane, Australia. I regularly comment on how great that service is from that company in Japan, directly from Japan. And my next video is going to have a cracker of a video where I show you where I do a color change on this bike. It's going to be amazing. So yep, this fits perfect as I can imagine. The spring goes into this top perch, as you can see there. And then here is the bottom part. So this is the bottom perch. It's threaded on the inside so that it can fit around a rod that comes from the cylinder. So going to put my 10mm ratchet on the back. Got my Allen key here. Might help if I had the ratchet the right way. So that's a nylon nut that comes with the Babyface bolt. When you remove this bolt, you've got a spacer there. Okay, so now we just need to hold the rod that's in the middle, because if you don't hold it, oh no, it's not moving. The rod may move out, but no, the rod end is coming out now. Okay, so the next thing is that I'm going to remove this nut, which serves as a perch for the Babyface kit. A little bit tough initially to undo because the spring is binding against the nut, so it's just got to break it free basically with a little bit more strength. All right, and so lastly, out comes the Babyface spring. So let me just have a feel. Okay, so it's just slightly shorter than it, has a lot more coils in it. Similar in spring tension, I would say. A little bit difficult to gauge because this has a smaller part here, so it just feels different. Yeah, I'd say that they're actually rather similar in spring tension. Now that's just at a guess. I'm not obviously measuring it, but take from it what you may. Okay, so this is great because now what happens is this spring perch fits up into here, and there's no risk of that rubber boot, which goes quite a bit up. I'd say it probably comes up to about here. There's no risk of that rubber boot, this rubber boot, from getting cut and then allowing all sorts of road dirt and grime to actually get up there. So the rod coming out of the cylinder is now, I've just got it so that it's just beneath that lower spring perch here. So I'm just going to have to get a feel. I'll just rotate the spring here so it's a little bit in like that. Now the good thing is that no matter how much strength I put to compress this spring, the spring is capsulated inside this higher perch. So this spring is now not putting any tension on the rubber boot whatsoever. So I can tighten or soften this to my liking to get a feeling for the brake pedal. Alright, so I decided to actually remove this washer because it had well and truly enough space, surface area for this rod end inside the cup. And when you put this washer inside here, it certainly it would not allow me to tighten up, so it just wouldn't fit. So I think these washers are only when you're somehow using a factory spring setup or an alternative spring setup, which is just, yeah, different to this. So I've got the rod end in now, just checking tension of everything. Okay, so now I'm going to fit the spacer back into here, fit this bolt through, and then continue through the spherical bearing. Lastly, I'm going to fit the nylon nut on the back. Rest in peace if you've got big hands trying to do this job. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely got a little bit more tension now. So I'll have to play with how this goes, but that certainly seems to have more tension. Just have to hop up on the bike and test it with my foot, because hand is always different to foot. Oh no, it seems reasonable. Okay, so it does feel very similar to the babyface spring set, as I said, because the spring set seemed to feel like it had a similar sort of tension. Okay, so of course I'll need to take it for a ride and just get a feel for it. If it does end up feeling too stiff, then of course I can just loosen off this lower perch, which would bring the spring down. But yeah, it actually seems reasonably good the way it is there. And obviously you're going to have to adjust it for your liking. So long as you've got a general understanding of how the part is installed, then you'll know what to do. So yeah, this added at about 60 Australian dollars shipped to the part. You could save yourself $20 if you were to buy the babyface rear sets and then just spend $40 on this Rockman spring set. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what you're up for, and I feel much more comfortable now thinking that rubber boot is not going to be exposing any dirt into the cylinder somehow. Alright guys, so that's all we're going to be looking at for this video. I hope you've liked this short video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next upload. Bye for now.